her she has to come with us, but we wanted to call the host first.
We would love to have you in Grenada.
Woo!
I cannot wait to see you, ladies. Phaedra, I can't wait to see you.
All right, well, love y'all. Okay, good, so you're coming.
I'm super excited because we've got strawberry shortcake on steroids. We've got the very fluid friend, Drusilla.
I mean, she was around. I mean, everybody knew.
The woman about town, Miss Edie Britt.
I went on one date with Dennis.
We've got sweet Shamia and the secret wife of Charles Oakley.
What did you hear about Charles?
I cannot wait to dive in and have some fun. Ooh, so delicious, like a buffet of foolishness.
Oh, I'm excited.
I know. I'm gonna turn it up, baby.
Like a boom.
Miss Phaedra Parks is back, baby. And boy, did she make an entrance. And Shamia, girl, it is giving hater. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. This is a recap of The Real Housewives of Atlanta, Season 16. We're doing episode 12. Please be sure to subscribe to the channel, like the video, and don't hesitate to leave a comment. Let's jump right in. This episode starts off with Shamia. She's sitting at the pool at Sterling Hall and by her pool. And Miss Kelly is arriving and she's calling her because she's trying to get to the backyard. And Shamia tells her, just follow my voice, girl. So Miss Kelly comes to the backyard to greet Shamia with some champagne. I must say one thing about you, Kelly, is you never show up to nobody's house empty-handed. You are the type of person, when you pull up to somebody's house, you're going to show up with a gift. And I love a friend like you, okay? So anyway, Kelly shows up. And I noticed that when she come in, they greeted each other as best friend. And I'm like, best friend? Wait a minute. Ain't pushing up and oh, okay. This is what it's giving? Oh, okay, Shamia, you got to replace Portia real quick, huh? But anyway, so Shamia tries to explain at her confessional that best friend is basically a term she uses loosely. She really likes Kelly. She's a turn-up type of girl. She loves her personality, and them titties is always out, okay? So now they're greeting each other, so they pop the champagne bottles. They popping bottles now. I'm like, yes, girls, I wish I was there, okay? So now they start to talk, and Kelly decides that she wants to plan a trip to the Caribbean islands, and she wants Shamia to guess which island, and the clue is they're known for their spices. So I believe Shamia's first guess was the Maldives, which was like, when I think of spices, that wouldn't actually be the first island I would think about. I would think about like maybe Jamaica, maybe Puerto Rico. But anyway, so no, anyway, and that's not even in the Caribbean. So she probably spit out like 10 guesses. I heard Jamaica, Brazil, places that wasn't even in the Caribbean. She said Puerto Rico. I think she even said Venezuela at one point, girl. I was like, girl. So, yeah. Finally, Kelly got sick of her guessing. So, Kelly announces that they're going to be going to Grenada. And I did not know that Grenada is also known as the Isle of Spice. So, interesting. Okay. So, Shamia says that that's one place that she doesn't have a passport stamp for is Grenada. And Kelly says she's never been as well. So this is both of their first time going, and it probably will be all of the other ladies' first time going too. So this will be cute. And also on Housewives, they've went to the Caribbean islands before, but they've never went to Grenada. So this is a cute first trip. Okay. So now they get to talking. And also, we find out Kelly lets Shamia know that they are just actually getting over a hurricane. So Shamia, she's like, well, could we provide some type of relief? And Kelly is like, certainly. So she gets on the phone and she calls her little concierge or whatever from Grenada. And they're talking with him about, planning on doing some relief efforts when they get there. So that was something I definitely commend. I'm always for like charity work and helping people and being, just that type of person that does things without expecting something in return. So the fact that when Shamia heard hurricane, that was the first thought she had. I was like, all right, Shamia, although you're clicking and you're clicking it down for me and I don't see it for you no more, You get a green, you get a gold star for that one, because I'm always gonna compliment. I'm thinking of the word right now. Charitable people. I wanted to use a different word. I wanted to use the word that Jassy used to describe Wendy. I forgot the word that Giselle didn't know what it meant. But anyway, so that was definitely something I was looking at Shamia like, all right. And I can tell that it was genuine and that was her first thought. So I was like, all right, Shamia, okay, you're not as bad as you coming across. Maybe not. So now Kelly lets us know that she's finally about to reach the end of her divorce. It's about to be final, over. She's about to get rid of that loser. Ding dong. The warlock is gone, honey. So, yeah, it's been 2.5 years, and it's been stress. And she was like, at this point, I think my ex wants my soul, okay? And, girl, I'm glad you don't have to go through this no more, because this is exactly what Ralph is putting Drew through now, and Simon is putting Portia through, okay? So now we go over to the next scene, and at the next scene, we see Portia, Miss Diane, and Lauren. They're looking at some property for a house, because Portia is going house shopping. She's ready now, because you know her and Simon, she can't stay in the house her and Simon had together, and I believe Simon wants to sell it or whatever. But anyway, so she's looking for a house, and they're looking around, and this is a beautiful house they were looking at. It was 8 bedrooms, 7 bathrooms, and it was worth $4.2 million. I saw all the chatter online. Everybody's saying, Portia looking at a house she can't afford, honey, just for a scene. Anyway, the house was beautiful, though. So when he was showing her one area, he was like, this is like the theater room. It can also be like a golf simulator. So Portia was like, but we left the person who liked golf at the other house. Talking about Simon. So then the guy says, I'm going to leave y'all by yourself. And then he makes a joke, though, because Portia was like, this is going to be my wig room. I can see my wigs hanging all around. So the guy was like, well, if you buy the house, maybe you could hook me up on one of those wigs. So they keying over that. So now the guy and the real estate agent and the man, they leave, and they leave Portia to herself. They tell her, take as much time as you want, honey. So she's sitting there with Miss Diane and Lauren, and they're talking, and basically it's clear she's not going to buy this house. I'm not saying it's because she can't afford it, but they're like, this don't have to be your first choice. You can look around. A house and a husband is different, because you can't always find a husband, but it's always a house available. So she starts. So, they start to show a flashback. Oh, when she said the comment about leaving the other person in the house who likes golf, they showed a flashback of her and Simon when they were house hunting. I guess that was on her Portia Family Matters, show. So they were showing that flashback. So now she's starting to talk, and she's starting to compare this divorce to her first divorce. Because in her first divorce with Cordell, she basically came into that being like the wife, being like the submissive one. So Cordell had control of everything. So by the time they divorced, she was kind of like left in the cold, stuck out there. And it's so funny because they showed the flashbacks of when she was in the car with them and they was going somewhere. And she was like, I'm glad Cordell let me come. And King was like, well, that show. This was season 5 when they first came. And then they showed the scene when she was at the reunion, and she was like, I want Cordell to know I'm going to cook his dinner for him. I want Cordell to know I'm going to cook his meals. I was like, girl, times have changed, honey. So now she basically says that for this divorce, she came prepared. She's not, she set it up so that she ain't going to be left out in the cold this way. And which is smart. She learned from her mistakes, which is smart. So now she updates them on Shamia, and she lets them know that Shamia is in a good place now. And basically, like, they was letting the other ladies get in the middle of their friendship. And now the whole biggest hurdle is going to be conveying to the ladies that they're good. And the ladies getting it. And Lauren is basically like, yeah, and Diane, they seem supportive. Miss Diane was shaking her head like she wasn't supportive, but I don't know, in the back of her mind, she was like, Because we know how she felt about Shamia and Mama Morton, honey. On that note, we're going to talk about that. But anyway, Portia says, if my love doesn't hold us together, then you can seek it somewhere else. I was like, okay, Miss Thing. But anyway, quick side note. I believe I found out what the beef is between Miss Diane and Mama Morton. From what I heard, and I got this tea from How's Aaron on YouTube. Go follow him. I got to see that they both had daycare businesses, right? And during the pandemic, Miss Diane's daycare business was going into foreclosure and she was going to lose it. And I heard that she told Mama Morton, like, as long as nobody else buys it and opens up a daycare, she's fine. Honey, once it got Miss Foreclosed, honey, guess who went and bought it and opened up a daycare, honey? And they said all she did was move Miss Diane's name and put her name on the sign. So, baby, that's what I heard the beef is over. I don't know if that's 100% fact, but that's some tea I got from How's Aaron. He lives in Atlanta, so he got the tea from somebody that's in the circle, I guess. So that's what I heard, guys. Anyway, the next scene was like a little mashup. We see Kelly, Chloe, and Cha-Cha the dog. They're at a place called Skin Culture getting facials. What's Cha-Cha getting a facial, child? Mind you, one of her lashes came off during the facial. Then we see Shamia coming. She's doing an interview at radio station V103. And they asked her, they introduced her, so they said, you know, we had another one of your cast members here to promote their song. And she's like, throwing shade. And she like, So then she said something. She was singing Drew's song. She said, if somebody's song starts off saying, if I talk 5 different languages, you don't speak 5 languages. So she's just throwing shade. So she was like, when they said Drew was at the station, she was like, oh, I never heard her song on this station. She was just throwing mad shade and hating on Drew. Talk about, she's like, lying ass bitch. I was like, Drew, Shamir, why is you coming on this radio station with all this smoke for Drew? It is giving hater. Are you hating? Because Drew's album is cute. I listen to it all the time, and her album is really cute. It's good, and it's doing good on the charts. Where's your project at, boo-boo? Instead of hating on her, maybe you need to collaborate with her so maybe we can hear your songs coming out too, because I ain't hear T-shirt nowhere. But yes, Shamia, I ain't like that. You're hating on Drew. You're a hater, okay? Drew can sing. She's pretty and she's talented. You can sing, you're pretty, and you're talented. So why do you keep trying to go up against this girl? Do you see the success she's having that you're not having, so you're jealous because you feel like it should be you? Shamia, please, have several seats, honey, because you are working my nerves and you are becoming like one of my least favorites this season. Well, let me not say that because Britt is my least favorite, but you're a close second. Then also during this mashup, we see Britt and Mike, they're in the bathroom in their robes, matching robes, his and her robes, talking about her, she's going to throw a business event for her business, Bare Naked. She wants to throw a polo classic event at the country club and invite all the ladies. Okay? So next we go over to Angela and Charles. They're visiting one of their rental properties in Cascade. Now we find out Angela has 7 investment properties and she's $2 million in debt, which is no-brainer, Angela. So I hope you sell one of those houses. To be honest with you, all she gotta do is really sell one of those houses and she could be out of debt. Sell 2, honey, and she got some profit, okay? So now they get to talking. So she's unhappy with the progress that the contractors or the people, I guess, the construction people are making on the house because she wants to have it on the market and ready to be shown. And it's not there yet. So she's frustrated about that. And then they start to talk about, she tells Charles how her mom bought a new house and is not going to be staying in the house that she bought for her mom anymore. And Charles is like, well, why you ain't tell her about this place? Like, she could have bought this place from you or whatever. But I guess the mother just wanted to be totally free of Angela because I'm assuming Angela must throw it in her face that she buys her stuff. And the fact that when the daughter, Amari, when she wanted to use the grandmother's car and the grandmother told her no, Amari was definitely given, well, that my mother bought you that car. So it's given that your daughter got this mentality from you that you bought it, so she's entitled to it as well. So I'm assuming that's why your mother is like, I'm not doing this no more. And I don't blame Mama Dukes. Rest in peace. Okay? So now she tells Charles, she brings up what the mom told her about the argument. about how they got into it, and she said she didn't know. And Charles was like, I was trying to tell you or whatever. So now she decides to apologize to Charles for whatever reason, because I guess she didn't believe that that's what really happened. And I guess because the mother was all in his face and getting more aggressive with him. So now she's asking Charles for a hug. He gives her a hug. He didn't seem as off-putting this scene. This episode, I can't say he redeemed himself from his behavior last episode, but this episode, he seemed to have a little bit more interest and support for his wife. Okay? So then she goes on and tells him about Britt's event that she was invited to, and basically she wants him to come with her. Next scene is Britt's Country Club Classic, and we see her and Mike. They're arriving to go check up on it. She's doing a derby thing. What this has to do with shapewear, I don't know, but hey, do what you do, Britt. I ain't going to never tell nobody how to run their business, honey. So now, Kelly arrives first, and she arrives with, once again, not empty-handed. She arrives with flowers. My girl, Kelly. And second, Shamia arrives empty-handed. So now Shamia and Kelly are kind of confused about what's going on, because they're like, wait a minute, I thought this was like for shapewear, but we're playing golf. Like, what is going on? And plus Kelly was like, plus it seemed like her neighbors didn't even know her. Like, what is really going on? So Britt, what is going on here? Okay. So now we see that they go to play golf. So they're playing, and as they're playing golf, Portia arrives, and Portia goes, she doesn't see them, she doesn't know they're there yet, so she goes and she's sitting by one of Britt's friends named Paris. Paris is the baddie, honey. I was like, oh, who's this? She looks familiar too. Okay. So now, you know who Paris looked like a little bit to me? She kind of looked like Tweet, the singer Tweet. Anyway, so now, the confessional asks Portia what she thinks about her and Britt having similar, like, brand names. And Portia was like, what you mean similar? I have my business for 10 years now, okay? Put some respect on that, okay? Okay? Because when I first heard it, I was like, bare naked, go naked, bare naked. That do sound a little too close to home, but okay, girl. Anyway, so now Drew arrives next. And after Drew, Angela and Charles arrive. And we see Britt arrive. She greets Angela, and she greets her with a hug. So I was like, all right, okay, starting off with good energy. That's good. So Drew is also confused about this event. She's like, I'm glad I was invited. She was like, but I still don't know what's going on here. What kind of, like, company is this? What's going on? So she was like, but I'm going to come and support a girl, whatever she's doing. I mean, even though if I don't know what she's doing. I was like, Drew, you coming with the shade this season too. So now we see Cynthia arrives, and Britt, we see her. She's in the back with Mike, and she's upset with like the event people or whoever it is, the people, because they put menus at all the tables, and she only wanted menus at the table for her and the ladies because basically she's not feeding everybody. It's going to be cocktails for everyone else and brunch for her and the ladies. And I'm like, huh? Wait a minute. You inviting all of these people to your event and you about to not feed them? Are you serious right now? I was gagging like, wait a minute. Is this real? So yeah, she was serious. So she was mad that the people put the menus all over the place because now she felt like the people was going to feel like food is for everybody. So she mad at the menu people. So I'm just like, girl, this is too much. And you should have maybe not had this event or made it a small, intimate thing where you had enough food for everybody. So she comes out to tell the girls. She tells the girls what's going on. And the girls is looking like, So Portia like, I'm going to eat mine, on a law. I'm not going to let everybody see me. Or whatever. So Portia is like, oh, that is tragic. Like, girl, she was like, you don't invite people from Atlanta somewhere and not feed them, honey, because they will have an attitude. And you saw the people looking like over it. Like, how dare you invite me to an event and not feed me? There were no hors d'oeuvres or nothing. Then you're giving me alcohol. Like, I want something in my stomach before I could drink. Like, I think it was really tacky, and honey, I would have went home. No food? Are you serious? Like, oh my gosh. I would have went home. I definitely would have left. That was so tacky. Anyway, So Portia was like, I'm embarrassed for her. So now Britt goes to give her little speech, and she has gifts for the ladies. So I noticed that when she gives her little presentation, she gives the gifts. I'm like, bitch, wait a minute. Did only the ladies get gifts as well? So why is everybody else here? Like, to watch you celebrate something that they can't share with you? Like, I don't get that. Like, I feel like if you couldn't give everyone food, no one should have had food. If you can't give everyone a gift, no one should have had a gift. Honey, why did you even throw this event? For real. It is a foul for me. Anyway, so she got them the gifts, and Angela realizes that Britt got her XL. So Angela like, Britt, no, you didn't get me an extra large. So Britt, whatever. So now they ask her what her inspiration is, and she says when she got a BBL and they gave her the shapewear to wear, she didn't like it. It wasn't ugly. It was ugly and it wasn't comfortable. So she wanted to make something sexy for girls to wear and feel still sexy in it. So that was her inspiration. And she said also when she had a trip, her company, they all flew somewhere and everybody got what they wanted. I was like, all right. Anyway, so now Britt asks Angela, like, how is she? She's glad she came. Angela's like, I'm fine or whatever. And then Angela just out of nowhere just proclaims, and yeah, by the way, Charles doesn't have a side baby. Angela, where did this come from? Why did you just blurt this out? Like, girl, like, that was on your mind, honey. She was like, I came to get this shit straight. Maybe Charles put it in her ear, like, honey, you need to straighten this out. That's why I'm coming. But, honey, I was just like, wait a minute. How we go from, hey, how you doing, to, by the way, my husband doesn't have a side baby. So then they discuss it, and Britt is saying, well, I'm not one of Charles's whores. And Charles is like, I don't mess with whores. So then Brittany explains to him the conversation that they had and how Angela referred to her as one of Charles' whores. So basically, they ended up calling it a truce, and they decide to squash it. Thank you. So now Drew decides she wants to address Britt because she said they had words when they was at Angela's house, and she said when they get a chance they want to sit down and talk. So Kelly decides to say yes, and when y'all do sit down and have that talk, you need to be honest and tell the truth. So Britt was like, I always do, honey, get to know me. Britt, that is why she said tell the truth, because she has gotten to know you, and she knows that you're a liar. So that's why she said what she said. Because she has gotten to know you. So anyway, the conversation goes over to the conversation at Angela's house when Britt and Kelly was going back and forth because Drew and Kelly was going back and forth because Drew was just like, I don't know much about you. I mean, you're not really like giving whatever. Anyway, so now the whole lapdog comment comes up, and Shamia is mad, like, how I get called the lapdog. So Drew explains to her, I called you a lapdog because I feel like you be running back telling Portia stuff, trying to twist things and throw some spice on it in an attempt to gain favor with Portia. I don't need you to try to use me to gain favor with Portia. And I was like, Drew, hit the nail on the motherfucking point. Hit the hammer on the nail, honey. That's exactly what it is. She wants to be so much in Portia's good graces that she gonna run and tell Portia things and try to throw some stink on her. Like, girl, I defended you. Let me tell you what Drew said when it wasn't even that serious in the first place. So they start going back and forth, and now Shamia start getting childish, and Shamia's like, well, I'm from a lapdog, bitch. I'm a bark like one. Roof, bitch. Roof, roof. And start barking and acting like a little child. So Drew was like, girl, how old are you? So Drew was like, something. So she's like, I don't want to hear this. I don't want to hear this. Woo, woo, woof, woof. So Drew was like, how old are you? And she was like, in human years, a dog years, bitch. I'm like, Shamia, girl, grow up. You acting real immature, real childish, and you look stupid right now. You're acting like a clown, okay? So Drew was like, you know what? I don't got time for this. At this point, everybody was over it. Britt got up and she shut it down. She was like, ladies, this is a classy place. And if y'all got some words for each other, then y'all gonna have to take it outside because it ain't happening here. And on that note, everybody started packing up, and it was time to go. Because first of all, this event was trash. This event was ratchet. And these bitches is barking and, it's time for me to go, honey. I wouldn't even have been there for all that. Because once I found out there wasn't no food being served, honey, I would have took my ass to the nearest restaurant. Next scene, the next scene we see Drew. She's at the record label to sign her record deal, finally. So she's there with one of her people she work with, and they're at the label waiting for the lawyer and the person, I guess the head of the label, to come in. They're doing it over Zoom. So before she does it, she wanted to FaceTime Dennis to get something straight because he been talking and putting some rumors out there in the streets about her, and she want to set this straight because she like, all right, before we do any business, honey. So she FaceTiming him. She like, yes, I heard that, Portia said you told her I tried to have sex with you in exchange for free studio time. So Dennis is laughing at it, laughing it off. He's like, why would you believe that? He was like, you crazy to believe something like that. So Dennis was like, listen, Drew, I believe in you. You're a talent. I believe in your talent, and I'm trying to take you places. Like, I want you to live your best life. And he basically assured her, I'm here for you. I feel like you got something. You're talented, and we want to help you flourish. And he was like, and by the way, studio time ain't free, and it never been. So basically, he said it all that. Like, ain't no kind of funny business. We ain't doing booty for beats, honey. This is strictly business, and we trying to win. What in the world is going on? You heard my cat just now? I don't know what the hell that was about. But anyway, so finally they get that straight. So then the people come and they do the Zoom call and they sign the record deal. Congratulations, Drew. I wish nothing but the best for you and nothing but success. And I hope your album goes platinum because it is really cute and I really love it. My favorite song on there, I believe, is, what is it again? Never, I love you, but I never love again. Love Again, I believe it is. It's another one. I can't think of the name of it right now, but it is my favorite song on the album. Actually, let me go to it right now. Because her album is really cute. I like I Did It To Me. Of course, I like Delusional. She got the song I like called Unusual. But my favorite song is Better On My Own. That's my favorite song, Better On My Own. I love that song. She got another song called Single Again with like a club beat. Yeah, the album is real cute, Jules. You did your thing. Shamia Kaneva. All right? So, yeah. Anyway, so they sign it. They pop in the bottles and they're drinking Nyack or whatever. So the final scene, we see Portia going to visit Miss Phaedra Parks, honey. And because they're going to do a little, of course they wanted to have a little bit of suspense. They show her, but they not showing her face. They showing Portia pulling up and they showing some woman going to greet her. We all know it's Phaedra, but they're trying to have suspense. So Phaedra greets her. Portia comes in and it's like they picked up right where they left off. Where they did a little freaking frack dance and freaking frack is finally back together, okay? So they did a cute little entrance package. I'm sorry, I just dropped my comb. They did a cute little entrance package for her. So they showed like her time on the Housewives, some of her best moments and not so best moments. But what actually surprised me is she addressed the Candy situation. I wouldn't say that she took full accountability, but she addressed it and acknowledged her wrongdoing. And I must say, I was satisfied with that because Portia has not, Phaedra never even discussed this before. Anyone who wanted to bring it up, she wanted to shut it down. Trying to talk about that situation with Phaedra is like trying to talk about Simon with Portia. Okay? Shut down. I don't want to talk about it. So the fact that she addressed it, I believe that was probably something that the network required for her to come back. Like, you're going to have to address this. You can't just come back. You're going to have to address why you left. Okay? So she addressed it. She said, I was playing with fire, and I got burned. So she basically admitted that she was wrong and she paid a price for it. But she's back home now, where she belongs, honey, okay? Did you miss me? Because I'm back. And I must say, I did miss Phaedra on Housewives. Even though I'm not a Phaedra fan, I think Phaedra is one of the fakest, phoniest people on reality TV. But the bitch is entertaining. She's good to watch on TV. And even though I don't like her personally, I would never say a bitch shouldn't work and have a job because I don't like her. She serves. And hey, so I hope she serves something this season. So I'm giving her the benefit of the doubt. She has a clean slate with me, although in the back of my mind, I know she's fake and phony fake thing. But I'm happy to see her. And boy, did she give us a little treat this scene, honey. So, So she had, first of all, she had a cute little spread set up for them. I was like, yes, Phaedra, okay, cute little spread set up. So then they start to talk about the ladies, so they're running down all the ladies. So she's like, Kelly, yeah, little gargoyle, you smurf fat. So she's like, I love the little people now. I just want to take her in my bag and take her home. Whatever. So she says, Britt, so Britt come on. She was like, oh yeah, Britt, I know her. She's a girl about town, honey. She's a girl about the city and the country. So she says she's no Brit for having a few suitors around town, but somebody wiped her up, so, okay? So, when it comes to, then she said, she said she got more bodies than Willie. So I didn't know who Willie was, so they showed the clip of Willie the Undertaker. Talk about, like, I guess he's the Undertaker, so she said she got more bodies than Willie. A girl about town, honey. A lady of the night. So then she said Shamia was cool. You know, Shamia did a show called Will Trent together, so Shamia cool. When it comes to Drew, she said, well, I thought, and she said she never met Drew Sidora. So Portia tells her that she's working with Dennis. So Phaedra like, Drew serving hot dogs. So Portia still trying to run with it. I heard she was sitting on a hot dog. Portia, please. Anyway, so then Phaedra was like, well, I didn't know. I thought she liked tacos and not hot dogs. Referring to the whole Ty rumor of Drew messing with the girl Ty. So she was like, you know, word around town, honey, and she like, you know, So then basically she was like, well, this is Atlanta, honey, and we pretty fluid out here, okay? So now when she comes to show, she's like, I heard Charles had a wife, Charles Oakley. I didn't know he had a wife, pretty much. Talking about Angela basically saying, like, you know, where she got, you know, I never heard of her. So now, Phaedra is keen. She's living for it. So Phaedra's like, this is the energy I needed, honey. Yes. So now she says, she tells Phaedra about the trip to Grenada. And she's like, you gotta go, girl. We gotta call. So she calls Shamia, and she's like, Shamia, guess who I'm with? Hey. So now she's telling Shamia, oh, you know, I was telling her about the Grenada trip. So Shamia was like, well, I'm hosting it with Kelly, so let me call Kelly. So they conference call Kelly in. Kelly like, hey, Miss Faye. So Kelly's like, sure, we would love to have you in Grenada. I can't wait to see you, girl. So yes, they hype. They like, all right, bye-bye, I love you. So now they hang up, and Portia and Phaedra like, yes, honey, we about to turn up. It's going to be lit. And the episode ends with Phaedra's commentary. She's like, this is going to be fun, honey. She said, we got strawberry shortcake on steroids, Kelly. We got the very fluid friend, Drusilla. Drew. We got the woman about town. She said, Miss Edie Britt. We got Sweet Shamia and the secret wife of Charles Oakley. I said, you know what, Porsche Phaedra? This is what we needed, sis. This is what we needed. Glad to have you back. Welcome back, sis. Welcome home. Anyway, guys, that was the end of the episode. I enjoyed the episode from 1 to 5. I'm going to do 3.5. I wanted to say 4, but it wasn't a 4. It was like a 3.5. My favorite scene was Phaedra, of course. And I must say, I was totally disgusted at Britt's event. Please don't throw no weapons, girl. You don't. She needs to be a one and done. Okay? Anyway, I did watch What Happens Live. And Phaedra was on there with Lala Anthony. Yeah, so she had positive energy. He was asking her about her first impressions of all the ladies. She had nice things to say about all the ladies. I will say that. Lala looked it real good. I didn't know that Angela fans are referred to as Fangelas. Well, I guess I'm a Fangela girl because I'm a fan. Fangela, fan out, okay? It was a question. It was playing a game, and it was called Does Phaedra Know? And they was asking Lala, does Phaedra know? And it'd be like, does Phaedra know? Like the words to the national anthem. Does Phaedra know? And then Lala would have to guess if Phaedra knows or not, and then Phaedra would reveal if she was right. So they asked, does Phaedra know the name of the vice president? So then Lala was like, yeah, she know that. So Phaedra's like, I know it, but I don't want to say it. I was like, Yes, girl. So then they was playing one of the songs. They asked her about a song. It was the Shamia song, and she thought it was Drew song. She mistook it for Drew song. See, Shamia? The girls, your best friend thought she was Drew because she said it sounded so good. She thought it was Drew. So it seemed like everybody thinks Drew is doing a good job with her music except for you. Okay? So also, Andy asked Candy if he ever, no, I'm sorry, Andy asked Phaedra if she ever runs into Candy around town. And she says she runs into her every once in a blue. And Andy was like, well, do y'all acknowledge each other? And she was like, well, I wouldn't say we do that now, okay? And then he asked Lala, how does she have any scenes shooting with Candy on the Shah? Because Lala's going to be on the new season of the Shah. And she's also on BMF. So Lala, yes, girl, do your thing. So matter of fact, Lala been on the Shah, actually. I'm bugging Dom. She been on the Shah, Dom. She just wasn't on the last season. I didn't see her last season, but I guess she back. But anyway, she said no, she don't have any scenes with Candy, but she gave Candy her flowers or whatever. And Phaedra seemed to have been in agreement with her giving giving Candy her flowers, okay? And I also saw the after show. And on the after show, we saw frickin' Frack reunited there with Britt Edie. Britt Edie looks like she want to be Frack. She looks like she want to be Frock or whatever, okay? Drew addresses the Shamia interview at the radio station, and she's like, wow, she's coming for me talk about if you started saying by saying I speak 5 different languages, then you don't speak 5 languages. First of all, the song is called Love Languages, okay? And she's saying I speak 5 different languages, meaning love languages. So, Shamia, you're trying to throw shade, and you just sound stupid, okay? You really throwing shade when you're really sounding like a hater. And Drew said it. Drew was like, you know what I'm saying? She basically knew the harmony, the lyrics to my song, the words. She knew the melody, all that, girl. Like, honey, it's some free promotion going up in here. Cynthia was like, you may have to owe her a check. And then Drew was like, you know, maybe we could get her music on the charts. There you go, okay? There you go. So then they talked about Britt's event. The girls was definitely underwhelmed. They was ready to put together a collection for an Uber Eats order or something, okay? Like, this is ratchet, totally ratchet. How you don't feed the people? And the people was looking like they was upset too. Then they addressed the Lapzor comment. Shamia's still saucy about that. And Drew stands by it. She's a Lapzor, okay? Schnauzer, Poodle, whichever one you like, okay? And then Drew talked about the dentist rumor, basically like glad that it was shut down, and we see it's not true, so we can stop running with this false narrative that Portia's been trying to push, girl, because nobody's believing you. And Shamia actually admitted to liking Drew's album, okay? So that's what it is, girl. You want your album to be like that. We get it. Anyway, guys, let me know what you think about the episode. Once again, like I said, please like the video, subscribe to the channel, and let me know what you think and what you rate this episode on a scale from 1 to 5. Next week, they'll be going to Grenada, and I'm here for it. So we will see you next week, guys. Bye.